I'm Abby Smyers, and welcome to my kitchen. Today what I'm going to be preparing for you is one of my all-time summer favorites. It is our fresh tomato tart. So let's get started. What I'm starting with is tomatoes, since that's one of the key ingredients of this summertime tomato tart. And what I've done is I've just lightly sliced some cherry tomatoes, and then what I'm going to add to those tomatoes are capers. Now, the thing I love about capers, I've got about 2 tablespoons of these. It's a great punch of flavor, and if you just smash them, it kind of releases all of that great, it's got this salty, and I love pickles and olives and all sorts of stuff like that. So I just sort of smash them down, and that releases all of those really good flavors. And then we're just going to lightly chop them, just so they go that extra mile. And we're going to add these to the tomatoes. Yep. Alright, and then we're just going to put these right in there with the tomatoes, and this is going to go on top of our cream cheese spread that we're going to put together in a minute. But I've got some great olive oil in here. I love olive oil. My favorite kind of olive oil, really good kind, it kind of like gets caught in your throat and you get this like peppery, that is my favorite kind of olive oil. Okay, so we've got a little bit of olive oil in there. I'm going to grind a little fresh pepper and a little bit of salt to kind of brighten the flavors and bring them out. That's about enough. And now I've got some fresh basil. The thing about summertime anywhere, I have lived in Illinois, I now live in Montana, anywhere you can grow fresh basil, and there is nothing better than basil out of your garden. I mean, it just smells so good on your fingertips. And that is one of the things that makes this tart so fresh and fragrant. And I'm just going to lightly chop it. And we are going to add that right in with the tomatoes. And then I've got my little spatula here. And we are just going to mix this all together and just let it sit. And it's just going to sort of get happy in here. And that is just going to be our little topping. So I'm just going to set this aside while I prepare our crust, which we're going to use phyllo. And phyllo is one of those ingredients that is so intimidating to so many people. I mean, baklava, all of that stuff, it sounds so complicated, but what I've learned, and I've done a lot with phyllo lately, is that if you move quickly, it does not have to be complicated. And and this is one of my best kitchen tricks for you, is it is a mister where you put olive oil in and it sprays olive oil. So you just pump it up, and I got to pump up a little bit more. But I'm spraying the bottom of the tart pan with the olive oil, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to unroll my phyllo. And phyllo is just this really thin, delicate sheet. So you have to be extremely careful, but what this phyllo does is it creates this light, buttery, flaky crust that is to die for. And paired with this delicious cream cheese that we're going to put on top, oh my gosh, it's going to be heavenly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of sheets and just sort of break them apart. It can be 2 or 3 different sheets at a time. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to lay it right here on the tart pan. And then you're going to take your olive oil spray. It's this easy. And you're going to spray it. And I'm going to do several layers. We are having a dinner party because it's my mom's birthday today. And she's actually my videographer right now. So on her birthday, she is helping me make this delicious appetizer, and our guests are going to arrive in probably an hour. So we had to clean the house. We've been busy today, but it's been a very good day, and I'm blessed to have a great mom that I do. All right, So now we're moving on to the Philadelphia cream cheese, and this is just going to hang out until we spread our cream cheese mixture over it. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to take 2 cups of mozzarella cheese, and we're going to take our delicious Philadelphia cream cheese, and we're taking 8 ounces of it, and we're going to add that into the cheese. And then because I'm a cheesy, I'm going to add another, this is about 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. And then just to give it some more flavor, I've got a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And I'm going to add that in there too. And then we're going to get this out of the way so that you can see what I'm doing. And then we're just going to combine this all. And this is going to be a thick spread that's going to serve as the base to our tart. Okay, now this is what you want it to look like. Okay, so it's pretty thick. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to take little chunks of it. We're just going to sort of gently lay it down here. And like I said, it's not going to be perfect. It can be kind of chunky. We're going to cook it at about 325 degrees. Okay, and then make sure that it's spread even enough that everybody's going to get a bite of cream cheese in every single bite. Mixture here, which remember is just our tomatoes and our basil. This is just really light and fresh, and I think it's going to be perfect with that rich creaminess of the cream cheese. What we're going to do is we're just going to lay that on top. And all of the flavors are just going to get married together when you cook it low and slow in the oven. You just sort of spread it out to make sure there's tomato and basil everywhere. God, doesn't that just look gorgeous? And it smells. You guys, I can't even tell you how great those tomatoes smell with that fresh herb. Alright, and then what we're going to do, very simple, but it makes it look so beautiful. We are going to just layer this over and just create a little pocket. Just like that. I'm just going to make a thin little crust, and you're just pretty much rolling it in on itself. You don't necessarily want it to roll over everything, but if it does, that's fine too. It's all going to taste great. And then what we're going to do is we're going to spray these edges again, because the thing about this is what makes that golden crust is the butter and the oil in the phyllo. So it's really important to get it saturated. And you're going to just keep spraying that. Doesn't that look pretty? I just love that. That's something that's so important to me about food, is when you go to somebody's house and it just looks good. Before you even walk in the house, you smell how yummy it smells. And then it just looks beautiful. Okay, now this is perfect. I'm going to add a teeny bit of salt just to the edge, because I found that really makes it that extra punch to the crust. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this in the oven for 25 minutes at 325 degrees. And when you come back, I'm going to show you how delicious this is. Alright, guys, this just came out of the oven, and it smells like absolute heaven. And look at that gorgeous crust. Oh my gosh. Our guests are going to be here any minute, and they're going to walk in and smell this amazingly delicious summertime tomato tart made with Philadelphia cream cheese. And they are just going to swarm. So all I'm going to do is cut it using my pizza cutter into little bites and spread it out so that each guest can get one. And then serve it with a nice glass of white wine, and they are going to love every minute of this. This is so delicious. I hope you get in your kitchen and make this for your guests, whether it's brunch or it's an appetizer. Get in here and make this. It is delicious.